Most parents have no idea how much emergency savings they actually need. And after paying off $43,000 worth of debt and building up a net worth of over $800,000, I can look back at that emergency fund that we originally had, not as something that we had for emergencies, but it was actually the foundation that allowed us to get so aggressive in paying off our debt and start building real wealth. So in this video, I want to help you figure out what your family actually needs in an emergency fund, because quite honestly, the information out there all looks the same. So I just typed it into Google. Their AI said, oh, it should cover 3 to 6 months. And then if you scroll down, like everyone's saying 3 to 6 months, 3 to 6 months, enough to cover 6 months. What else do we have here? 3 to 6 months. And in the long run, yeah, that could work. That sounds amazing. 3 to 6 months sounds great, but right away, possibly not. And I think this is a big reason why most parents feel like they can't do it, or, oh, personal finance isn't for me. Because when they see, oh my God, my emergency fund needs to be 3 to 6 months worth of my expenses, they look at their expenses and it's anywhere from, say, $3,000, $5,000, $6,000 a month. They're like, I can't save $9,000 to $30,000 plus $1,000 in order to have a proper emergency fund. Like, that's insane. I'm sure you've also seen people talk about the $1,000 emergency fund, and it's been talked about for decades. But in today's world, that number specifically is pretty tough for parents because, kids are freaking expensive. Guys, real quick, I've opened up some spots in my Wealthy Parent program for busy families looking to get more clarity in their finances, find extra money each month without making more, so that they're able to put more of their hardworking money towards their financial goals and just feel like they're winning with their money. If that sounds interesting, any of that, there's a link below this video to book a call directly with me, and we could start your path to becoming a wealthy parent. I'll see you there. So I think the real question that we're all trying to answer is, how much money exactly should be in your family's emergency fund? And here's why it's so important. I like to think of emergency funds like a video game. So imagine your favorite video game. It's maybe an adventure game. You're sort of looking first person through the camera or whatever. You're walking along, you're doing all your stuff. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you're getting attacked, right? You're going through the level, you're getting attacked. You don't know what to do. Your health is going down. The shield's flashing. The screen's all red and everything like that. What do? Well, in real life, what's happening here is you're walking through life. Everything's going great. And then boom, an unexpected expense comes out of nowhere. That's the attack in the video game. So what do? Well, in the video game, you look around for the health kit or whatever, you maybe grab it, you go behind the rock, and you wait for the bad stuff to go away. And in real life, this could be like, oh, an unexpected expense just popped up out of nowhere. I have to dig into my emergency fund here. Let me just take a second, pause, and then move forward, right? Because in the video game, you probably don't bust through everything and try to you're not gonna win that way because you haven't gotten to the checkpoint yet. So all that work they've done in the game, you're going to be going back to the checkpoint. And it's kind of like in real life. If you don't have that emergency fund set in place and you don't reach that checkpoint, you just have to undo months and months of positive efforts. I've seen this so many times working with families specifically where it's like 2, 3, 4, 6 months have been going great. And then all of a sudden something pops up out of nowhere. Of course, life happens and it sets them back the 3 months, 6 months or whatever, or even more. Because now their emergency fund was not set up properly. They have to go into debt to pay for something, and then they're back at square one. Let me know down in the comments if that's ever been the situation for you. So why I think emergency funds are so valuable, because literally, like I said at the beginning of this video, if my wife and I did not have an emergency fund, we would not have been able to be so aggressive paying off the debt. We paid off $43,000 of debt in 13 months. How is that even possible? Well, at the time, and I had to look back. This was kind of hard to figure out, but I think we had about $1,500 of an emergency fund. And at the time for us, that felt like enough. Now, everyone's going to have a different term of what enough is. And in a second, we're going to be talking through what I think families like yours should be doing in terms of to give you a tangible number that works for you. But this $1,500, what it did is it was like, okay, no matter what happens, we're probably fine. Like, we're going to be aggressive with our debt. We're going to have no margin at the end of the month for anything else. It's just like we're crushing towards this. And then in the last month, that's why we were able to do it in 13 months. We used that $1,500 towards the debt. I don't know if I'd recommend that, but for us, it was like, let's just get this thing out of here. We've been crushing it so hard because we knew the next month we'd just be able to fill up the emergency fund again based on how much we were putting towards our debt every single month. So it was gone, and then it was back in the next month. And then the following months after that, we put money towards our kids' future education. And then the following months after that, we just pumped it really hard into, basic investing portfolios and things like that. And that's what skyrocketed our net worth. So we went from $43,000 in debt basically to over $800,000 of net worth currently. And what slingshot us and what slingshot us forward? Slingshot, is that a word? I'm not sure. What moved us forward was that $1,500 emergency fund in the beginning. Now, as things progressed in life, like as we started to have kids, now we have a mortgage, like there are more buffers in place because we've just gotten too far in the process. We're not going to let a thing get in our way here. So we have, there's a buffer in our checking. We have savings, like regular savings. We have high yield savings. And then of course we have all the investments and stuff like that. But like we're trying to build it up so that we have this like ironclad, bank vault situation where it's going to take like a pretty serious mastermind criminal to be able to get through and impact our day-to-day life, which is what an emergency fund does. And so here's what I think most families should do. 3 to 6 months, okay, sure, maybe that's the gold standard, but I wouldn't fixate on that number right now. $1,000 emergency fund, that's pretty tough. I'm not going to lie to you. So what I think you should do, and let me know down in the comments if you agree with me, or what do you have in your emergency fund, or what do you feel comfortable? I'd love to hear from you because this feedback just helps me understand where people are currently at, where parents are currently at. So one of the things I do inside the Wealthy Parent Program is I have parents go back 3 months worth of their expenses to see like where has their money been going, right? I think for emergency funds, if you're able to, what might be really helpful is try to remember, or you can even look at the data of the last 6, 9, 12 months. I know we're going back pretty far, but this is going to be helpful. What was the largest expense that popped up out of nowhere? And then we're going to be using that number in a second. But if the number is like, hey, my roof broke and I had to pay $15,000 for a roof, it's like, okay, let's not use that one. Let's use like, day-to-day ones, because obviously like there's not many emergency funds that are going to cover $15,000, right? We're talking about like what's going to be enough money to stabilize us as we just try to crank really hard on whatever it is for you, paying off the debt, investing, kids' future education, whatever the thing is, right? So that number is what I would use. So if you look back at the last 6 months and you're like, oh, it's only like $1,000 thing. Like, okay, great. So maybe $1,000, $1,500 is all you need. That's why I don't like hey, emergency funds should be $1,000. It's like, let's look at the data. I like data. Now, of course, looking back is not a projection of what's going to occur going forward. Of course not. It's kind of like investing, right? You look back like, oh, wow, look at all these returns. Doesn't mean that's going to be the case, right? But at least we have a semblance of an idea of what it could be. Now, for some people, like me, having a mortgage and kids, like, oh, maybe you just want to have a little more cushion in there. So maybe if it was $1,000, maybe try to go for $2,000 just to have something, right? Or some people like the, 1 month of expenses. And so I would say for you, it's a comfort level thing. For me, I would like to just look at the data. How much was the most expensive thing? That's what I'm putting in there. So yeah, guys, let me know down in the comments how much is in your emergency fund now, and make sure to check out the link for the Wealthy Parent Financial Clarity Call, and I hope to see you there.